two. Alright. The long fire's still going. I don't have to restart the fire this morning. So I feel well rested. The long fire worked. So I only had to feed it an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time, which allowed me to get plenty of sleep. Just I find it's very important in the wintertime because there's more darkness than light. So if you're not comfortable at night and can't sleep, it's long. Versus if you can sleep, it becomes quite short. And you get your rest. It's good for morale, and it's good for your energy levels. Water and food now. Taking care of core body temperature, but water and food. So, probably still got a little bit of water here left over from last night. Yep. So I'll take a couple of sips of that. But I need some food, so I'm gonna go get some wild edibles so I can have some tea and some shoots boiled up into the tin cup of the tuna. So I'm gonna start with breakfast with tuna. That's right. So open this can of tuna should be tricky without a can opener. Just shaving a stick down just so I can eat with something. So I'm not gonna be too picky, just needs to pick it up. Straight up tuna from the can tastes good today. Tell you that. I ate the tuna. I didn't want to fiddle around with it just to not get any metal shavings in the food. So now that I'm finished the food, I can take care of the container itself. So what I did was I started to cut just underneath the rim so that I can get a full circle. And it's giving me jagged edges. So what I want to do is find a rock or a tree and just scrape it like this, just to smooth out the ridges and the edges, just to make sure it's okay, and then I'll clean it with some snow. So what this is doing is smoothing it out, the rim, to make sure that I can touch it, don't cut myself, and as well that there's no extra little shavings of metal. So when I use this to make some tea or to boil water or melt water down, that I'm not drinking metal shavings. It's always good. Okay, so I'm gonna go get some wild edibles. I'm gonna see what the forest has to offer, what's lying around here for food. So while I get some food, I'm gonna make sure I get some more water. I'm gonna put this here to get started. So I'm gonna let the snow melt while I go look for some food. And when I get back, I'll either have some water or I'll make some tea with the water. I don't know if you see those, but at the end of every one of these is 3 or 2 shoots. So all these little things you can find off pine trees, and there's different ones on fir trees. So we got squirrels out today, that's for sure. See it moving? Take these guys here and boil them up and get whatever I can from them, if there's anything. These guys. probably turn into leaves in the summertime. But if I boil them now, if I just twist them off, what you can do is access the cambium layer of many twigs, like spruce trees and pine trees, birch trees, and some fir trees. But what you can do is take your knife and just definitely shave the bark off. Now the trick with this, what I'm about to do, is if you're not sure which layer is the cambium layer, then what you do is you strip the bark off so you get down to what looks like wood, and just strip one side down a little more than the other, and just chew. You chew on it, you swallow your saliva, the juice, the spit, but you spit out the stick after. So these are my 3 little piles of wild edibles that I'm going to boil to get the nutrition and the nutrients from. Also some pine needles. I'm going to make some pine needle tea right about now. I recommend, if you're in the wilderness and randomly sampling plants, to first boil them, but taste one at a time, so that you can, and only small quantities at a time, so that you can judge a reaction and know which ones not to get. If you blend them all together and make a tea, you don't know what you're sampling, and you get like a headache, or you get a stomach ache or indigestion or something like that, or you throw up. You won't know what not to pick next time because you blended them all together. Alright, so it's official. The tea is ready. I had to collect more firewood so I could have some fire so I can boil my tea. So I got my boots and my socks wet again. I wasn't fully wet, but just my boots and my socks. So I'm drying them here while I sip on some tea. Not bad, actually. Not bad. Feels like I could use a little bit of sugar, but whatever. This will do. Alright, so I'm just gonna have the rest of my pine needle tea, and we'll mix with a couple other things, and then I'm gonna head off. Alright, so the plan is to head up on the mountain and see what's up there. Alright, so day 2. Alright, I took care of some wild edibles this morning, had me some tea, got a little energy back in my body, and I'm evaluating what I want to do today. I did want to go up on top of the mountain to check out them rocks, but first of all, it's snowing, so it makes it wet to travel. And as well, I know that there's more trees down at the base of the mountains than on the hillsides, so I'm not quite sure what's up there. So, and I've already got a spot here. I got a great night's sleep, so I'm going to stay here again tonight, but I'm going to trap. So I want to catch some squirrels. I'm going to show you guys how to set up some traps. And it's difficult trapping in the winter because traps can freeze, like it's snowing right now. So if you make any snares that are on the ground level, then it can snow in your snares, you know, and freeze them in. So you have to make snares that are in the tree and off the ground. So you can't make tripstick traps, you can't make deadfall traps, you can't make figure 4 traps, you can't make figure 9 traps, you can't make platform traps. You're really limited to mainly 1 or 2 type of traps that you can put that are assembled in the tree, so that trigger in the tree off the ground, so it's clean, so it's not susceptible to snow and freezing. So I'm gonna get that started, but before I do that, I want to collect more firewood for tonight, because I already collected the immediate firewood in the area. So It might take me a little longer this time. So I'm going to take that into account and do that first in my priorities. So what I'm using to trap today is a 550 parachute cord. So I don't know how many people know this, but if you take out the strands, you have 7 chances to snare something instead of 1, because there's 7 strings inside, and you can burn the tips so that they don't unravel, and then you can use these individual strands to trap as your snares. Okay, so I got the parachute cord to about the length I'm going to need. You know, I give myself a little more. It's better to give yourself just a little bit more than too little. So now I'm going to pull the individual strands out of the casing. There we go. So not only do I still have this, but now I have the individual strands. So, and as long as I'm going to use my lighter for this one, I'll burn the tips of each one. And that's to ensure it doesn't unravel. So the point of this trap is that the squirrel's going to come up here. So instead of coming up all the way to the tree, taking an extra step in the snow, it doesn't like stepping in the snow just as much as us. They'll come up here. I'm going to have a trap here and keep it there. I'm going to keep the noose open with a branch, with a shrub right beside it, so it won't notice. Okay, so the first trap's already set up. It'll come up here, run in through the hoop, its tail will catch, or its head, and trigger the snare. And it won't fall down too far in order to be able to catch around here and recover itself. Trap number 1. Trap number 2. Alright, so these things are really tedious to put together, so I'm only going to put a few more out here. But I need to get warm. I can feel the tips of my toes starting to numb. Remember, the more traps that you set, it increases your chances. It's unlikely that you'll catch something the night you set your traps. So usually you gotta wait till the next morning or the next day. So you usually give it a 24 or 48 hours result time for your traps. Okay, so I gotta set a fire. So I'm gonna show you another way to make a fire. Alright, this is a lighter that doesn't work, as you see. It's ran out of fuel. But if you ever have a lighter and you run out of fuel, do not throw away your lighter, especially in the summertime. Okay, I'm gonna show you something right now. I have some ready-made tinder here and a lighter that doesn't work. I'm gonna show you that. All one shot. So if you have a lighter and it stops working, don't throw it away. Always keep it, because it creates sparks that can do this. See that? That's important. That can save your life. So my priority right now is to get dry. It's nice to feel warm and get dry. This is how wet my socks are though. Some wet socks. It helps to wring out your socks before you hang them up so that they dry faster. Alright, so I'm just sitting enjoying the warmth from the fire. I got firewood for the night. I'm drinking water every hour and a half, 2 hours, so just to stay hydrated. And food, I've been eating wild edibles all day. So chewing on sticks, drinking pine needle tea, grabbing some shoots, and leaf butts, actually, to tell you the truth. So the butts that would normally turn into leaves in the summertime. And just boiling that up, getting my nutrition and my nutrients and my vitamins that way. I'm drying my boots and my socks right now, just to make sure that that I'm all nice and dry by the time the sun goes down. I tell you, it's so peaceful out here, but it's easy to enjoy now, to tell you the truth, because at the beginning, you definitely get your initiation. I'm sure everybody can relate who does this self-reliance outdoor living stuff. All the survival. It's that, you get your initiation. So when I first started this, I got cuts on my arms, microscopic cuts, until I learned how to move around and move the brushes away from me or wear a sweater. I sawed through my thumbnail, actually, but not with an electric saw, like an actual hand saw. So, and before I realized what I was doing, I'd already went in once and on the upstroke twice. So it froze on the spot. It got numb and got really cold. So I did the same thing flip napping when I was working with rocks. I split my pinky nail right open near the middle. So I had to wait for that to grow out. A little bit of frostbite, 2nd degree frostbite on my Achilles tendon. So from doing winter survival stuff. So it's fun now, but I paid my dues. Definitely. There's a lot of stuff out here. I remember I caught my first rash from poison ivy. I lied down right in it without looking. I just wanted to lie down and take a rest. It was summertime, didn't think too much about it. Caught it. But that stuff doesn't happen anymore. Not to say it couldn't happen anymore, but it doesn't. So it allows me to enjoy all this stuff a lot better. That's for sure. I'm gonna wait for the sun to go down before I go to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep now because I'll wake up too late in the night or early in the morning next morning. There's nothing to do at night really, so unless you got crafts, burning out a bowl or a log so that you can have a container, or making rope. So that's the temperature going in. I'll tell you, it's funny, right about now there's a lot of people in apartments putting plastic up on their walls like I used to. I mean on their windows. And shrink wrapping the windows and everything to insulate the heat. They get heaters, turn on the heaters too, and it costs money. It costs a lot of money. You easily have a hydro bill of $1,000 or $2, usually 2. This is free, man. I didn't chop any trees down. I just took the access of dead wood from trees that already fell down. So either they rot away and turn to dirt, or they can keep me warm throughout the night, Also, that comes in handy as well, not cutting down any trees and learning how to use the resources that are around you. Is if you find yourself on somebody's land and didn't know, because you won't pass the private property sign if you're already in the bush. You understand? So usually they're on the roads to not let people access in. So if you're there and somebody catches you or finds you there, at least they'll be able to evaluate that you're not cutting down and destroying the property. So it's another thing to think about when you're out here, you know? It's real life. I'm not in a national park. Yeah. Surviving day 2. Bye guys. See you in the morning. Day 3. Another day. Day 3. Feels colder than yesterday. So all in all, a good night's sleep. I slept maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time. I'm out of firewood completely. This is the last bit of the fire. So I got enough firewood exactly. But my first thought, I wonder if I caught anything in the traps. So it would be nice to eat some squirrel this morning or some chipmunk or something other than wild edibles. The tuna was good yesterday, but it's a new day. Let's check this one out. Oh, it's still set. Okay, so no luck with that one. Check the other one. Where's the string? Oh, it got triggered. Look at that. Oh, didn't catch him though. He probably ran in too fast and just triggered it with his tail or something. Oh, that's it. There we go. I think that's white pine. I like these pine needles though. I recognize them. Not sure if it's white pine, but these taste good when you make pine needle tea. So it's good to keep in mind. You know what time it is again. Start the morning with a nice warm beverage. So I'm gonna boil some water and have some pine needle tea. Unfortunately, I didn't catch any squirrels or chipmunks. So if this was a longer segment, then maybe. But today's the last day. So gotta head back. This should hold me over for now. So I'll chew on a couple twigs as well. Alright, tea's ready to me. I gotta take it out quick. So day 3, I'm ready to take on this mountain to check that spot up there that I saw, but I checked the battery lifetime and I don't have much time left. So to film on the way up there and film activities up there and what I might do. So I'm gonna head back. I'm gonna wrap up camp. It's been great. I love doing this stuff. I do it all the time. It's all about evolution movement, you know. That's what it's all about. Is being out here, but enough for it to affect you. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Maybe you learned something new. You know. So now you got to see what it is to take care of yourself for 3 days and 2 nights in the Canadian winter with minimal supplies. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time.